Look at how big these two dudes are.
I know.
Sometimes I wonder if the cage is going to hold up or not.
Nice arm drag. Nice arm drag. 10-minute match. Just nice to hang on the head there.
I had the honor of being coached by Lamberto Raffi. He's an extremely talented and extremely knowledgeable wrestling coach, and you can see the experience. He let Granelli grab his leg, and he just wasn't bothered. He just defended it like it was nothing. Look at how strong he is with the whizzer on the left hand, on the left arm.
Mirko also has some experience with judo, but so does Lamberto. And you can see this here. Wow. A big movement. Lamberto settles on top. Mirko trying to play his guard, get double butterflies in, looking to elevate him for the leg lock. He's trying to get that knee across his center line so that he can start to attack on Lamberto's left leg.
Can I just say, what's impressive about Lamberto right now, besides his ability to defend and be offensive with the wrestling, is his flexibility. Because he's not a young guy by any means, but...
All he needs to do is pull that knee line in. I think that was a mistake from Mirko there to look for the toe hold rather than for the heel hook. But he's got a calf slicer.
Nice calf slicer attempt.
Very, very close.
Bit of a
Lamberto, way too experienced for that.
Bit of a fence grab by Lamberto Raffi, but veteran move. Just a quick grab. It wasn't an obvious fence grab, but it was a grab nonetheless. Sometimes it's even hard to resist the instinct to just grab the cage and use it to defend yourself.
Got to think as well, with the prevalence of leg locks in today's grappling art, I don't know the exact age of Lamberto, but I know he's a veteran of the game, and any sort of major knee injury here could spell the end of your career. So these guys are not taking a small risk in doing a grappling match at this level.
Exactly. Look how strong Lamberto's grips just look to be. Mirko, who's a big guy, he's having trouble dealing with them. That just tells you everything you need to know about a lifetime of grappling and how much it impacts your grip strength.
This is a great strategy for Mirko. So hanging on the head, you know, if it's a 10-minute match and you're against a slightly older opponent, then you think that you might have the advantage in cardio throughout the time. So Mirko's a big dude, hanging off the head there to try and get people tired. This is something you see the best grapplers in the world, Gordon Ryan and the guys who come out of New Wave Academy. These guys all spend a little bit of time hand fighting and pulling on the head and making that investment for later on in the fight.
That type of how do you deal with that type of pressure with a guy that's just constantly controlling your head and constantly trying to break your grips and get his grips going on you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at that. Like, Mirko makes an attack attempt. Lamberto, solid as a rock, counters the position. So the way to deal with that is people have to be punished for that type of behavior. If somebody tries to grab your head, the moment they reach, you've got to get underneath them and attack their hips. You know what I mean? You've got to win the hand fight and make sure that somebody who's telegraphing, like my hand's coming to your head, you know the pathway of that. You mean you've got to block that, set up an arm drag. You've got to pop their hand up, get underneath the hips. You've got to really make sure that anybody who shows a repeat type of movement is punished for that repeat type of movement because you know what's coming. You've got to have something in your bag specifically for that.
Just as you said a moment before, Lamberto just looks solid as a rock. It just looks like his base is not going to be compromised by whatever Mirko's doing on bottom, and he just looks heavy now that he's sitting on top.
I had the pleasure of rolling with an Olympic judoka who was only a blue belt. His name's Spencer in Leeds. And what am I talking about here? He had this ability to make his pinky toe feel like it was connected to his shoulder. It didn't feel like any part of his body was separate. It felt like it was one solid slab. And when he tensed up, Lamberto finding mount and Mirko straight back out. This is an incredible pace for the size of these guys. But really, like with Spencer and with most high-level judo guys, you can't. You know, you can see Mirko's here trying to fight a single limb, his arm, but like the whole structure and posture of Lamberto just seems so strong. Head position so strong. You know, and that takes a lot of energy because you try and move somebody's whole body. It's totally different to trying to move their arm, you know?
I understand. I perfectly get what you're saying. Some people just feel like they've been made out of bricks. And Lamberto certainly is one of them, judging by Mirko's difficulty to get back on top or even to just try and create space between him and Lamberto. Lamberto just going with relentless pressure and just making Mirko carry his whole weight.
He's done a great job here of isolating that far arm. Like, I mean, what he is doing here is setting up that armbar. So that right arm is trying to set up an armbar, and Mirko knows that he's trying his best to try and square himself back up. Lamberto's not trying to give it away too much, but he's dominating position here inside control. And obviously with a 10-minute match, every second that ticks away in these scenarios, every second that ticks away works in favor of your opponent. So staying here, but look at the pinning pressure. Lamberto's blocking off that elbow, knee and elbow on either side of the hips. Like, it's a tough ask to get out from a veteran like this. Although Mirko's doing everything he should, I'd suggest to Mirko maybe trying something a little bit different. Maybe lift his head, maybe walk the cage, maybe try and belly down, give up your back in an effort to wrestle. Here he goes, uses the cage.
There goes the cage.
Instead of pushing off the cage, sorry, he pushes the entire structure. And that's a leg press from Mirko. That's what that'll do. I should give you an idea, guys, of what the sort of power level of these guys is. Structure moving power here.
Did we just see one guy push the cage off with his legs? Did we just watch a guy leg press the whole cage away? That was impressive. Impressive display of strength by Mirko, which should tell you everything you need to know about Lamberto's strength and ability to control the opponent, because Mirko was stuck on bottom for more than 4 minutes.
And he wants to get his own back here, doesn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely. He does want to get it back. I was just about to ask, would it be a viable strategy, in your opinion, for Mirko to sort of like show an opening and maybe try to bait Lamberto into a submission to then try and escape the position?
I mean, if you're pinned for any extensive period of time, there's not much else that you can do. So, yeah, absolutely. But Mirko managed to find his way out. And interestingly, like, one of the things I would like to see Mirko or somebody in this type of scenario do is, you know, lean on the belly of your opponent, smother the mouth, put your head and your neck into their face, just make it hard for them to breathe, because when somebody's got that age disadvantage working against them, like here, this is a perfect, how hard is it to breathe underneath somebody as chunky and as pressureful as Mirko? You know, if Mirko was just leaning his hands into the solar plexus, into the stomach of his opponent here, you know, you're going to take something away from them. And we are already seeing the explosivity of Lamberto starting to wane a little bit. And he's in on the legs as soon as I say that.
Lamberto just looks like a bag full of tricks. He's definitely playing the role of the veteran. He has a trick for every position he's in. He's definitely a resourceful fighter, if there's ever been one.
An underhook and a butterfly hook here, so he's got most of the structures that he needs to be able to create some space and make an opening of something. So either he's baiting, you can see the right hand is waiting to pull that elbow in to complete the sweep off to Mirko's left and Lamberto's right. And he gives it a great effort, but Mirko's just a little bit too well-based and well-balanced. What would you like to see from Mirko here? Because arguably it's not a million miles off each other, you know what I mean, in terms of Lamberto dominating the first half and Mirko dominating the second. What do you want to see?
If he's trying to win the fight via a judge's decision, then I think he definitely has to go for a submission attempt in the latter part of the fight, because Lamberto's been controlling him in the first half. So definitely Mirko has to try and go for a submission right here, but I don't think he should rush, because rushing against a veteran like Lamberto could mean losing the position, and then he would be in a real hurry to get something going. Figure 4 on the wrist, maybe.
Lamberto's trying to straighten his arm. Mirko's trying to find the bend. I actually quite like to use my head on the elbow joint here, but Mirko's strong enough to try and get that wrist close towards him. Yeah, there's the head on the elbow bend. Telling you, these guys must have earpieces.
This just looks like a battle of strength between two very, very strong guys.
I'd like to see Mirko try and step over that knee, you know, maybe to mount, maybe use this type of position to pass.
Besides the Kimura he tried to attack, what other options do you think Mirko has from this top position that he's holding on?
It's very difficult to like truly stabilize in positions like this to find your grip set. Now it's a lot easier now that his knees through. You see his knees come through. He's trying the wrist lock. He's trying the wrist lock. Oh, it looks uncomfortable. He's not going to tap with 5 seconds left on the clock. Oh, mate.
That was a nice attempt by Mirko.
That was a very nice attempt. Lamberto's probably going to be eating food with a fork in the right hand for the rest of the week after that one. But that was extremely close.
I would agree.
Extremely close. I think Mirko may have done enough. You know, maybe, but I don't think anybody's going to be robbed here because that was incredibly close.
I wouldn't want to be the judges scoring this fight.
Good fight, good fight. Fair play, Lamberto. Lots of respect for that type of effort.
Allora, anche qua c'è stata
see the
un'analisi
size difference between them.
approfondita di tutto il match. Ci sono state varie fasi altalenanti, la lotta ai piedi, la lotta a terra, vari tentativi di entrambe le parti e la spunta il maestro Lamberto Raffi!
Incredible victory by Lamberto Raffi. Amazing that at his age he was able to compete with such a strong guy like Mirko. He was impressive. Nothing more to say. Impressive is the word I'd like to use to describe this performance.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that was really a match of two halves. You had Mirko in the second half and Lamberto in the first half. And I wonder if it's the takedowns and the counter takedowns of Lamberto that really made all the difference there.